Good afternoon, Bucharest. It's so good to see you today. How are you? Asleep. Great. My name is Tejas. That's pronounced like contagious. Don't worry, I'm not contagious. It's just some people have trouble with this name. Even the moderator had to ask me, and she thought it was Tejas. And so this should just help you pronounce this. I'm an AI developer relations engineer at IBM. So 2 IBM talks in a row. I need to say I'm not here speaking on behalf of IBM, so to say. I just work there on AI and research and developer communities, okay? Today, unfortunately or fortunately, our talk is going to be about AI. And I say unfortunately because I think a lot of us are just tired of AI, right? There's some AI fatigue. She's nodding. She's like, yeah, I hate that shit. And I'm with you. And so what I'm trying to do today is give you a talk that is not, he's leaving. That's how tired of AI they are. I'm trying to give you a talk today that is not based in hype or based in high valuations for the sake of, you're going to miss out, but to give you a view on AI, sort of through time, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, with nuance based in science and engineering, and in a way that will make it actionable for you. You'll be able to actually go to work or go home and use this in your life to add value, because I believe it is useful if we remove all the marketing, okay? And so that's our plan for today. To get started, we don't have a lot of time, so I want to start by talking about AI yesterday. And I don't mean actually yesterday, where OpenAI announced this AI slop video app called Sora 2 that happened yesterday. I'm not talking about yesterday. Claude 4.5 Sonnet, new model dropped yesterday. I'm not talking about yesterday. We're going to go back a few years to where AI began, specifically generative AI, and go from there to today to the future, okay? When generative AI was new, nobody cared. Absolutely nobody cared. GPT-2, have you used it ever? No. Oh, okay, 2 of you. GPT-2, really? Now she's like, no. So GPT-2, nobody used it. GPT-3 came out, and still nobody cared until OpenAI put a beautiful user interface on it, a chat interface called a ChatGPT, and then everybody was like, oh my God. And the main thesis I want to share with you today is you can build the greatest things, but if the user interface or the human interface is not there, nobody cares, okay? So we'll start with that. ChatGPT was new in 2022, November, and we started using it, but when we used it, some limitations became very clear. Let's travel through time and use sort of early ChatGPT to understand and understand the limitations. Now, when we do this, we're going to use the model GPT 3.5, and I'm going to use a tool that I work on called Langflow. It's open source, it's free, there's no commerce to be had here. But it's a great way to visualize AI workflows and then execute them and then host them on the internet. And that's why I'm using it. It's this beautiful one-size-fits-all thing. Okay, so this is Langflow. And we're going to build a version of ChatGPT here. So chat input, chat output, kind of the essentials. And we have a language model in between the chat input and the chat output. Something like this, right? And so this is kind of what ChatGPT was, except the model was GPT-3 actually. So this is a very early version of ChatGPT. And if we use it, we can test it. We'd say hi, and if the internet works, it says, cool, hi, how can I assist you today? Fantastic. The problem with early, ChatGPT of yesterday, was what underlied it was a machine learning model whose weights were frozen. It had no access to real-time information. For example, we can do something like, what movies are playing in the theater today, right? And it will just not know. I'm sorry, but I'm unable to get real. This was a big limitation with ChatGPT yesterday. How does ChatGPT solve it today? Let's go use ChatGPT right now, and I'll paste the same prompt, and what you will see is some interesting developments to today. It searches the web. You see that? It searched the web, and it got answers. That searching the web is a technique called RAG. Who here has heard of RAG? Yeah, that's yesterday. You're outdated. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. You retrieve some authoritative data, and you use it to augment the generated output. So, okay, let's travel through time, and let's add RAG here. So I'm going to add a URL just here. And this URL will go to the internet. It will go to this website that has the latest movies in theaters, and it will give it to the model. Okay, how does RAG work, though? Well, we add an intermediary layer between the chat input and the model. And this layer is a prompt composition. This is the basis of all RAG. So how RAG works is, I write a prompt that is a superset of the user's prompt. So I'll write this prompt. The user asked question, which is a variable, as you can see here. And the data is, and I'll put another variable, data, now answer the user. So this is an actual RAG prompt, okay? And so what we'll do is, we'll take the question from the user and plug it in here. We'll take the data from the authoritative data source, the website, plug it in here, right? And now we have RAG. We're retrieving movies from the internet. We're getting the user's query, we're giving it to them. So in the prompt, we include the answer to the question. Does that make sense? This is RAG. Okay, so how does this work? Let's try. So I'm going to open the playground, and notice it's the same prompt. I'll paste it, and I'll send. And now, like, suddenly, it has all this big list of movies, right? This is how we got around that limitation yesterday, last year. This is most of 2024 was doing RAG. And RAG is still a technique today, but it has changed. It has changed, if we fast forward to today, to be agentic. 2025, I hate myself for saying this because it's one of those cliche sentences. 2025 is the year of AI agents. Yuck. Okay, anyway, what does that mean? RAG has become a little bit more agentic. What are agents? Well, I'm an agent. You're an agent. We're all agents. Agents are entities, human or machine, that have the ability to make choices. I chose to come be here today. I chose to drink water, right? If you ask me to do a task that I don't know how to do, my language model in my brain will remind me of a task by description. So, hey, Tejas, multiply the first 10 prime numbers. I'm like, I don't even know what a prime number is, but if I did, I would use a tool described to multiply prime numbers. You know what it is? It's a calculator. So I would like naturally go reach for the tool, generate inputs to the tool from my language model in my head, and then, 1 times 3, I don't know the numbers, I'm bad at math. Anyway, and then I would hit equals, and the tool would give me an output to my language. Does it make sense? So agency allows us to choose tools based on their description. RAG is now agentic, and it looks like this. So instead of this like prompt, template, business, whatever, we take the language model and swap it with an agent, an actual agent. And on the surface, an agent really doesn't do anything. An agent is kind of just like a language model, except an agent can use tools. There's this little input here. So this URL tool, I'm going to actually turn into a tool. You see tool mode on. And what you'll notice is the actual URL has disappeared. I don't paste a URL anymore. The agent uses its agency to know which website to go to it when it gives the, does it make sense? It gives an input to the URL tool. Okay, so we'll pass the chat input raw from the user, and we'll pass the tool, just like this. This is how RAG has changed. And now using agency, the agent can just go browse the internet using this tool. So let's take a look. So I'll say, go to this website, and now it just knows how to go to the website, because it has the tool, and find movies playing in the theater. Okay. And now you'll actually watch it. We'll actually use the tool if the internet allows. We did talk about internet yesterday during the rehearsal, and I was told it would be better, but here we are. Let me just quickly check this. And also, just for posterity, let's use a better model. Okay. There we go. So it's doing something, and we should have I can actually do this better by just doing this whole thing offline with local models. What network am I on? Thank you. Yeah, that's actually, wow, this guy knows Langflow better than me. Give him a round of applause. That's fantastic. Thank you. Let's try that. And now we plugged in the output. Perfect. And so we have fetch content. It used the tool. It got the answer. Fantastic, you see? And you can actually see the inputs it gave the tool. Okay. Let's do better. I used a calculator example, so we'll take a calculator, and we'll do tool mode. And now I have 2 tools. Look at that. And so playground, right? Let's do multiply the first 10 prime numbers, right? And with agency, my agent evaluates expression. It gives, these are prime numbers. Cool, I didn't even know that. And it gets a result. So it used a tool. Agents are cool because they can use tools. That rhymes. You can get a tattoo of it if you want. But also, tools make our lives work. And tools in code are just functions. Functions that receive an input, return an output. The LLM generates the input and reads the output. Does this make sense? Now that tools are functions, they can connect with APIs, and this is where we get to sort of tomorrow territory. I really suck in general, but I also really suck at managing my calendar. I'm not good at this. Ask any organizer of the conference, they will tell you. And so what I built was an agent to manage my calendar, and it just works. And you can do this yourself using tools. So tools, as I mentioned, they just code, they're just functions. I have this Apple Calendar tool that I made. By the way, everything here is code. All these, if I click the code button, it's all just code. There's documentation, everything's code, including tools. So this tool, Apple Calendar, I will turn into tool mode, and I will pass this as a tool, right? And that's it. I have this agent. This is actually crazy, because the Apple Calendar lives on my computer. This is the Apple Calendar app right here. And as you can see, my calendar is kind of empty, but today, on October 1st, I have to give a talk right now. So if I go to the playground, and I can literally just here, let's do this side by side, right? I can say, make a calendar event for 1:30 p.m. Bucharest time to give a talk, right? And the agent will use so it gets the current date. That exists now. It just did the job, right? How fast was that? You know what I mean? And so this is the age of agents. That's today. This is not tomorrow. That's today. Things like this exist. You can build them with Langflow or others. Okay, but where are we going tomorrow? Now that things like this exist, what if I don't want to use the Langflow interface to build tools like this, but I want to use the tools from anywhere, right? I want to pick up my phone and use a voice assistant. Hey, book me a flight. Or I want to use my laptop, but I don't want to use Langflow. Yuck. I want to use like ChatGPT, which I already use for everything else. I want to use Claude. I want to use something else. This is where MCP, or Model Context Protocol, comes into effect. Okay, what is MCP? Similar to HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, Model Context Protocol is a protocol. It's a client-server protocol. You have a server somewhere. You have a client somewhere. The client, when it opens, talks to the server. It says, hey, what context do you have for me? And then the server says, well, I have these tools. A tool for the calendar, a tool for this, a tool for that. And then the client can call those tools remotely. Does that make sense? So you're just passing functions over the network. There's a lot of people who will use big words to confuse and gatekeep you. Don't listen to them. It's all functions. We can do this, okay? And so with MCP, any client can talk to any server. So Langflow is an MCP server. It gives context or tools to MCP clients like ChatGPT, like Claude, which is an AI app, and like Cursor. Anyone using Cursor? Cursor is a way, yeah, so Cursor is an MCP client. Langflow can work as an MCP server. So the point I'm trying to make is I can now manage my calendar from anywhere. Let's look at that. So I will open. Actually, I need to expose this MCP server first. So what I'm going to do is share, and I can share this as an MCP server. And so now I've got to edit my tools. So this thing is called new flow. I need to give a description. This is how the agent knows when to call the tool. So I'll say, use this tool to manage my calendar. I'll call it calendar tool. I don't know. And then we'll close it. And now what I can do is I can just auto-install this to any MCP client, like Cursor or Claude. So I'll install it to both, Claude and Cursor. And that's it, it's installed. So now if I open Claude, I can just like manage my calendar from this. I don't have to use Langflow. So this is Claude. This is my calendar, right? Why does it, okay, today. I want today. There we go. Make a 3 p.m. Bucharest time appointment in my calendar for lunch, right? And I'm just going to check that it's actually configured here. Perfect. And now what's going to happen? This is not Langflow. This is just an app like ChatGPT that happens to be an MCP client, right? And it will just use my tool. Look at that. It's tremendous. And so now what it'll do is it will ask for permission, because it won't just indiscriminately use, okay, well, I guess it didn't ask for permission, because I already gave it permission, okay? The machines are not evil and alive. And so it totally added this appointment right here. You see that? And so I can do this I can do it from Cursor. So as I'm on, let's open Cursor. This is Cursor. I was actually coding an SVG. This is actually true. And now that I have it in Cursor, let's go confirm that I have it in cursor under tools. Perfect, I have it. I can do something like find out when Tejas' talk is at How to Web 2025 and add it to my calendar. And it will use the combination of all the tools, right? Like it will use the web search, the URL. It composes tools together. While I'm coding, I'm not even leaving my context, and it just does a job. So it's searching for this stuff. The web search didn't give information because the website doesn't render without JavaScript. So I can interrupt it if I need to and say here. So now it's using a browser. It's like actually, and I can actually watch this browser. Let's go watch this browser. Look at this. It's like clicking here on this website, going to the agenda to try and find like where my talk is, right? This kind of stuff is wild. So anyway, I found one page and I can see Tejas as a speaker, but now I need to find and it's just going, and it's composing my tools. And you can actually, look, it brought up that program drop-down. Are you seeing this? That's today. And so I have like 4 minutes left, man, but I hope it can add it to my calendar because that'd be crazy. There you go. So like this whole thing is being navigated by an agent, right? I'm not doing anything. And at some point, it will add my talk. I need to really manage to. Perfect. Okay, it found it. I'm on the agenda page. Let me check day 2. The problem with the agenda is my name is covered by another element on the page, okay? And so it's going to struggle a little bit. But I'm making a very strong point here for my conclusion, so stay with me. I'm on day 2, but I still don't see Tejas. Let me see if I can find it. And so now it's writing some JavaScript to run in the browser, and my name is not, and so it's just really going and going. And so it will continue this, but ultimately it will succeed. I need to manage time. We can look at it at the end, but the point I'm trying to make, let's skip all this stuff and just talk about tomorrow. That was the demo for tomorrow, by the way. Agents controlling browsers on our behalf so that we don't have to. I'll wrap up with this. It's all about UX. That's what I'm going to say. I used to be a front-end developer. I actually wrote the book on React. And then I moved from front-end to AI because AI is just a different vector for UX. What is UX? It's the experience we have as users on the web. And I tell you what, the web sucks. I hate the web. Sometimes. Because I tried to book a flight today, and my browser had trouble loading JavaScript, and I couldn't do anything. And sometimes there's like accordions, or carousels, and you can't navigate that shit. And there's people who are blind and it's the web is like a composition of bad decisions made by people sometimes, okay? It's just hard to navigate. And so what if I didn't have to navigate it? What if one of my agents could do that for me and get a job done, right? What if I could just type a prompt into like ChatGPT and be like, hey, please book me a flight to Taiwan. This is my budget. I want to arrive at night. I want to leave in the morning. Here's my frequent flyer numbers. Have fun, right? That's it. And then, you know what I do? I hit send. It does whatever it needs to do. I go spend time with my family and friends. And then I get a confirmation email. That is where AI is going. It's all about the UX, okay? I genuinely believe that. In fact, try it. Like, I actually have some applications that I'm using. My social media is largely just run by a team of agents. I host a podcast. It's run by a team of agents. You can tell because M dashes. Anyway, what does this mean? Does this mean our jobs are going away? Like, where is this leading, And I genuinely believe that if we get AI to do the busy work, like booking the flights and filling the forms, then we get a lot of time back to do what really matters. Spending time with our loved ones, touching grass, and enjoying life. With that, let me give you some next steps as I wrap up. As you can tell, I like talking. I do this a lot. 20 minutes is challenging, man, for real. And so I have a podcast where I talk way more. Okay, like there are episodes that are very long, some of them 2 hours plus, about AI and where we're going and how to build with AI, also about fitness and finance, and it's just, I would invite you to listen to that if you think there's value there. Number 2, the tool that I used was called Langflow. It's free and open source. It's a desktop application you can download to build agents yourself. I work on it. It's open source, and it's honestly run by a small team. So if something breaks, open an issue on GitHub. We want to fix it. And then finally, here's me on socials. If you have questions or things I can clarify, I would love to connect with you. Thank you so much for your time and attention.